This is Gilgamesh, and I'm going to be doing a review of two movies, Smile and Smile 2. There's a big difference between the two movies. It's the stars. Kevin Bacon's daughter here plays Rose in the first movie, and then we have, here's the cast. Naomi Scott is a much more improved character for the sequel. Better story. But this movie is just boring. Where our main character is Rose Cotter, and she's a psychiatrist working at a psychiatric hospital, and her boss is played by Kal Penn. And she has a sister. They kind of have a falling out when they were younger. Their mother was kind of not a very good mother. So, yeah, and then we go to the psychiatric hospital where this new patient is brought in, and she goes in to talk to her, and she's standing there and she's freaking out and everything. And then all of a sudden she smiles and then kills herself. And this entity, smile demon or parasite, attaches itself to Rose. So what this thing does is it has the ability to make you you see terrible things, like people smiling and everything. Kind of, the first movie is very boring. Like I said, it's not because most of the actress, the main actress, she's not good. Her character might be written like crap, but she's just not a good actress. She's supposed to carry this movie. She's terrible in it. And so you don't care about her. And then you have Kyle Gallner. He's actually in both films, and he's her friend. And so basically she starts seeing things and freaking out, and movie goes on. It's, like I said, very boring. And there's a point where she's at her sister's house. There's a party, and her sister has a cat, and then ends up dead. And it looks like she may have killed the cat, and she's losing her mind more and more. And that's what this entity, parasite, smile demon does. It drives the person crazy that it's attached to, till it can crawl in and make them kill themselves in front of somebody, so that they can then possess that to attach themselves to someone else. That's how this thing works. And yeah, it's really feels long, like longer than an hour and 55 minutes. It just goes on. It drags itself. It's not a very, and then we get to the final act of the movie where she goes back to her childhood home, and they really don't explain why she goes back. She just decides to go back. And here's where the final act of this movie, the payoff ain't worth it. That's why I'll tell you what the difference between this movie and the sequel. I'm just rushing through it because it's a basic piece of garbage. If you want to see it, I don't recommend seeing it because it's just boring. The kills are not inventive. It's just a really bad film. A lot of people, they were like, oh, I like this movie. How do you like this boring movie? I mean, honestly, Kevin Bacon's daughter is terrible in the movie. She's just not an interesting character. So we get, like I said, by the time we get to the third act, this movie's dragged its ass. Before this, she goes to this prison and talks to this, guy who basically is in prison, and he freaks out because he thinks she brought the thing to him and tells her to get the hell out. And she goes, like I said, so we get back to the house, and we have a flashback to when she was a little girl, and her mother was clearly a drug addict or something. And here's and then this thing, like I said, can make you imagine anything. It can look like anyone. So there's a point where she confronts it, and basically it looks like her mother, and it starts talking. I don't give a shit. Then she sets it on fire and leaves and goes to Kyle's house, and it turns out to Joel's house, and then it turns out all of this none of it happened. It's this thing. It's made her believe she killed it. And then he smiles and realizes, oh shit, she's back at the house. And then Joel shows up to the house, and then When he gets in, he breaks in the house. She has poured gasoline on herself, turns around, she's smiling, emulates herself, setting herself on fire, killing herself. And the movie ends, and oh yeah, they show this thing. It looks like shit in the first movie. When you finally see this entity, it's horrible looking. It looks like shit. Like I said, I don't know if it was the budget or whatever, but it's not a very good film. I'm rushing through this because this movie is a pile of shit. I didn't give a fuck about anything that happened in this movie. The ending is shit. Now that being said, I know there's some people that think it's a good movie. Now, let's get to the sequel. This movie fucking was awesome. I love this movie. I was not expecting to like it, but I heard people like Critical Drinkers say this was a movie, and it's really due to Naomi Scott. Yeah, and before the movie began, when the movie starts, she's on there thanking people for seeing this movie, for supporting it, and it's really her. Naomi Scott as Sky Riley really goes all in on her character. I mean, she goes full in, the point that, like, when things are not, other than drinking, literally, she, in one full thing, she drinks an entire bottle of water. Yeah. She starts to pull her hair out. And this happens with people who are stressed out. They'll pull their hair out, and they literally show her ripping her hair out because she's stressed out. And she had, at the beginning of this, she's had it a year ago. She had an accident with her boyfriend, Paul, who is played by Jack Nicholson's son, Ray Nicholson, and he's fucking great. Everybody's great in this movie. But what happens is, going back, we get the beginning of the movie is Joel. This movie is supposed to take place 6 days after the last movie. He now is trying to get rid of this thing. He's found a way to basically put this on someone else so he can live. So he goes to a drug dealer's house. Or I think he's a drug dealer. Basically, he takes his brother and he makes him watch as he kills his brother. But then he shoots at him, and he dies. But the thing is, there's Lewis, who he doesn't see, and he's there. So he witnessed all this. So what happens is this thing attaches itself. Apparently, you can transfer it by making someone watch as you kill someone. That's new to this. It wasn't in the first movie. So we do a little more about this entity, what this thing is. Yeah. From Morris over here. Because he's basically, his brother was killed by this, as he says, entity, demon, parasite. Yeah. So, and what happens is she's doing a music video, and she hurts her back, so she goes to Lewis because she needs Vicodin. Nobody will, because of her drug history, doing cocaine and other drugs, they won't give her anything but Tylenol. She says this in the movie. So she went to Lewis to get Vicodin for her back because she's still dealing with pain because of the car accident that killed her boyfriend, Paul. And you'll find out how that accident happened, and it is her fault. Yeah, and this thing makes her confront her past. Yeah, everybody's fantastic in this movie. I mean, Peter Jacobson, he was on House towards the end. He's been in other stuff. So, yeah, and like I said, this is a far more improved film than the first one. Everybody's great in this movie. Nobody gives a bad performance. And really, Naomi Scott carries this movie. It's better writing, better directing. She's the biggest reason this movie works. Yes, Drew Barrymore plays herself in the movie. Her talk show and everything. But, like I said, Naomi Scott's amazing. I knew nothing about her, but apparently she started out as a singer and then got into acting. I've never seen her anything else, and she's great. So yeah, and so she basically, when she sees Lewis, he's freaking out. He's losing his mind, and then suddenly he looks up, and we know what it is, but he sees it, and suddenly he stops. And this thing, we find out, crawled inside of him, and then makes him basically bash his face in with a weight. For the type that you do this, takes him, beats his face in, kills himself. So she doesn't realize this entity attaches itself to her now. And this movie's more fucked up than the first one. and I loved this movie. I really did. It was a far more improved overall story, like I said, everybody's great in it. But you don't understand what's going on. And she starts getting these messages, and she's talking to people. She calls up her friend Gemma, who she hadn't talked to, and she meets with Morris later on as the movie progresses. Things are getting far worse for her. She's losing her mind, pulling her hair out, drinking a lot of water. And there's one point where she's in her apartment, and all of a sudden, there's a lot of what looks like people there, but they're all this entity, chasing, and they slowly move. When she's not looking, it's like they move when she's not looking at them, and it slowly does it. It's actually very effective. Compared to what's in the trailer, which was kind of shit, and this movie look like crap. It's a far better movie than it should be. And the trailer didn't help things, but the movie is just so good. There's a point where she's looking in the mirror, and, the thing's behind her, and it grabs her and does this. Forces a smile on her face, and she freaks out. And they had jump scares, but the jump scares work because you don't see them coming. You're waiting for something to happen, and it doesn't. And then some something happens, she thinks it's happening, and then all of a sudden it didn't. This thing made her hallucinate a lot. There's a point where she's agreed to give this speech for a fundraiser, and when she gets there, she brings up her Paul Hudson, her boyfriend, who died in a car accident, and then she sees him. And give it to Jack Nicholson, Ray Nicholson. He's fucking amazing. He's great in this movie for what he plays, and he's walking, and she's freaking out, and oh my god, and then all of a sudden, it stops, and then this old lady, old woman there comes up, trying to calm her down, and she knocks the woman back. I don't know if she killed her or it's obvious she injured her, and she's freaking out and everything, and having a panic attack, and she's losing her fucking mind, and she calls her friend Gemma and comes over. Like I said, this thing it's much better because this thing really knows how to mess with your head and drive you crazy. And then she, ends up meeting Morris, who's a nurse. Yeah, Peter Jacobson comes in at the right moment. He starts explaining, and he explains his brother was killed by this thing. And he calls it an entity, some people call it a demon. He calls it more of a parasite because it needs a host. And he tells her, I have figured out a way to kill it. Without a host, it can't live. So this really is a parasite. So he tells her, we have to kill you in order to kill this entity, this parasite. And and she freaks out you want to kill me? Well, what he wants to do is stop her heart, and that way the demon dies, and then bring her back. And she doesn't believe him, and things go to shit, and then finally she calls him up and shows up, and he found an old pizza place with a freezer, and he goes, we need to slow down your heart rate and everything. We need to keep your brain from dying from lack of oxygen. We have to basically make you go below freeze you and inject you with this thing so your heart stops, you die, and then he says 8 minutes. And this is when she finally goes, the messed up part is, at one point, this movie goes completely to shit, and she's, and everyone thinks she's she's doing drugs and everything, and trashing, and she's hallucinating everything, and then her mother's killed, and it looks like her mother killed herself, but then, like that, she's holding the blade, she's got blood on herself, on her clothes, and it looks like she may have killed her mother. Yeah. And then she calls her friends up to go to Morris to try to kill this thing so she can free herself, that it doesn't do it to anyone else. I love the ending of this movie because it is messed up. This movie's fantastic. It's worth the time to see. Um, yeah, that's the basic plot, and and Naomi Scott's just fantastic. Everybody's great in this movie. They all do a great job. But give it to Naomi Scott. She carries this movie. I was happy I saw this movie. I didn't expect to like it, and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like Joker 2. I like Joker 2. This movie just was so much better. And, okay, now the ending of this movie. I'm going to give you the... Okay. The ending of this movie is she's gone to Morris, and he's told her what they need to do to kill it. So she proceeds, he puts her in the freezer, he says the door closed, you're locked in, you can't get out. It's an old rundown for pizza. Yeah, so she gets in there, the demon, oh yeah, she's left with her, what she believes their friend in a stolen vehicle. I think it's a limo. And essentially, and then she realized her friend called her, and she never talked to her friend. This whole time, it's not been her friend that she's been talking to, Gemma. It's been this entity. It's been pretending to be Gemma. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she realized that, and then she gets out of the, and we get to where she meets Morse, and she's, injects herself to try to kill herself so that she can kill it. But it turns out this thing outsmarted her. Yeah, she never injected herself. And Morris isn't there. So this whole time she's been manipulated by this entity, demon, parasite, and the fucked up thing about this movie is how it ends. Now, yeah, the end of this movie, she is put in what looks like some type of flood, and then she comes out and she's on stage. Oh yeah, at a concert. Oh yeah, and her performance, at one point she's dressed up made me think of Lady Gaga. Yeah, and Naomi Scott can sing. I looked her up. She started as a singer as a child, so yeah, and that added to the believability of her character. And the fucked up thing is that this thing, when there's her, and then there's a copy of her where it shows the scar, like this costume she didn't want to see people seeing the scar, and this thing rips open and out comes this thing, and it's much better looking for this movie than in the first Smile, and this thing looks horrifying. It's like, oh fuck, this thing is terrifying looking. I'm not joking. It's really good. The effects in this are far better than the first movie. And like I said, this thing has to drive you crazy to be able to take your body over. And so that's what goes on. She screams, and then all of a sudden she stops moving. She's at a concert. Our mother's up there still alive and everything. So all the stuff that we thought happened didn't happen. Nope, her mother's death turns out never happened. So a lot of this stuff that she thought was going on was all a hallucination by this entity. So it basically crawls inside of her, and then you hear her gasping for air, and then suddenly she's smiling. Yep, and we're all getting it from her point of view, and we hear it. And then what happens, we come back, and she's on the ground, she's taken the microphone and shoved it in her eye, killing herself. And people are recording this, so essentially what this fucking thing did was attach itself to anyone who was at the concert or anyone who watched the concert. Yeah. So that's far more fucked up than and it's more gorier too. It's far gorier than the first movie. And it actually surprisingly worked. Yeah. Like I said, the ending is much more fucked up than the first. Oh, going back to Joel. He does succeed, and all of a sudden the drug dealer, his friends show up, they show up and a shootout happens, and Kyle gets killed. I mean, Joel does. He gets killed. He's running. He gets away. I think he got shot in the shoulder, but he's running, and then he gets hit by a vehicle, and they slowly pan and you see there's nothing left of him. Oh, it's a smear on the road and everything, a gory smear. Yep. As I said, this is a far better movie than the first one. I highly recommend, if you have a chance, go see this. It'll be on Paramount Plus down the road. But yeah, it's really, really, really good. The ending is the best part about it. No, the sequel's better than the first one. I wouldn't recommend the first one unless you really, really have to see a shitty fucking slasher film. This one really does kill it. So yeah, this is Gilgamesh. Happy Halloween. I will talk to you later. Bye.